From Craig Rolson in Europe, David Gerber in Brazil, and our editor-in-chief and publisher, Don Oshman, it's time for this week's Sunday Night Week in Review.
Hello, and welcome to another weekly report, Sunday Night in Review of the high-net markets around the world. It's Sunday night, November 10th, and today, this last week, we can talk about in Europe, our editor Craig Rolson wrote how the dollar improved again, which had an effect on European highs. But the raw stock market was a mixed bag this week. There were some prices up a little bit, some down a little bit, but generally very, very firm, relatively slow because people are thinking already the end of the year holidays where they shut down a long time in Europe. And not that much action, but very, very, very firm. Also, Craig reported that Italy was the second largest buyer of American Wet Blue, which we'll talk about that in the American report. Also, in his editorial comment this week, very interesting about Uggs using less sheepskins in their fabulous footwear they make and other items, and that could have an effect and probably will have an effect coming down the road in sheepskin prices and lambskin prices. In America this week, we thought that last April were the record highs. Well, this week prices went up between $1 and $3 on this, depending on what selection. Some of those historic highs were broken again, so we're past the April highs, about April 15th highs, and the market is still very, very firm. But as markets prices have risen, demand has slowed a little bit. There was not an abundance of business this week. Not that anxious sellers were disappointed. They were still in very good shape and very well forward, but it seemed the air gets a little bit thinner at the top of the mountain. Also, shipments are going very, very well. The combined shipments this year for raw and wet blue were 848,000, the highest for the year. Very, very impressive that highs were shipping and letters of credit are coming. The combined outstanding was down 10%, and sales and shipments surpassed slaughter this week. So a lot of activity. Slaughter was okay, around 621,000, but shipments were exceptional, as were sales were very, very big. So it looks like the market's going to go up next week, but nothing is for sure because the way business dropped off this week, the demand seemed to slow a little bit. Maybe we could be at a peak, maybe not. We tell both sides of the stories on this week's U.S. Week in Review. Latin America report this week, Brazilian and Argentine and probably other green hides, fresh hides advanced again as the tanners fall over themselves to see who can throw away the most money to buy green hides. But meanwhile, that means they have to charge more for their wet blue or for their crust or even finished leather. TR1 Brazilian offers were still between $1.70 and $1.75. And if you want to know what prices actually traded, again, check our Latin American report. Tanner's sales they have on the books are out and through well into December now. Nothing left for November, and they're even starting to talk about January shipments. So the tanners don't need to sell, but they do need more money. Drop splits, as David Holes writes from Nuovo Hamburgo, are irrational. They don't make sense, and there's a wide disparity in prices depending on the producer and the type of split you have, whole hide drop splits. But nevertheless, demand is terrific out of there, and it's terrific out of the whole world due to the collagen taking up so much of the split market. Incidentally, we talk about that as well, where even collagen prices have now got so high that some of the people who use them, like pharmaceutical and food people, are thinking of looking for substitutes for collagen. So there's a limit to everything. This week in leather, we talk about how Stahl has basically sold their leather division, or has sold their leather division to Clariant. Indian leather exports were up. Minerva bought 2 plants. We talk about that in the Brazilian report as well. 2 new packing houses in Brazil. The Chinese PMI got to an 18-month high last week. And there's more information such as final quarterly results on Bata Shoes, Rocky, Iconics, Madden, Jones numbers. GH Bass sold their company, and Allen Edmonds sold their company. And also Bruno Magli in Italy is a potential sales target, we understand now. So we talk about that, and bottom line is momentum rules the markets. And although there have not been tremendous increases in prices this week in Europe, it was firmer, and prices rose a little bit in Brazil and Latin America, and in America, a lot. Anyhow, that's it for tonight. please go to www.hidenet.com. Take a trial if you're not already a subscriber, or if you are a subscriber, get a trial to some reports you don't subscribe to. No charge. See what you think. See why HideNet is the largest, most widely popular and most read report of its kind in the world. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week, and have a good week.